Hello. We got a bunch of folks waiting already, and there we are. I see the stream. If you can see us and hear us, say hello. Tell us how you're doing. Check in with us because right now we're just sort of like shouting into the ether.
Yeah, we never
There's
know.
Jesse. Hi, Jesse. Thank you for being here. Phew. It's a real thing that's happening. Good
Woo.
to see you. Happy Friday. We had such a tremendous turnout yesterday for our
Yes.
Oscar nomination live stream. So thankful to the folks who came. So thankful for all these incredibly generous donations. That number keeps growing. We made during the actual stream $936.59, but that number
Nice.
keeps growing because folks are still donating to that chat. So we're well over $1,000 at this point for
Yeah.
wildfire relief.
Nice. Thank you.
So thank you for that. Justin Halloran says, "Yay, I'm finally making one on time." You're not late. There is no time. It's fluid. Thank you, Gage. Gage says, "Amazing sweater, Christy." You know what? I bought this is a Varley Fair Isle. This is so not me, but I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cute. And so I bought it. I've worn it literally twice on Christmas Eve and on New Year's Eve. So I'm like, if not now, when?
Exactly. It's gorgeous. I love it.
You're so sweet. Thank you. It's very cozy. And T Love Hater likes it and Teddy likes it. If people like it, I'm happy. So let's talk for a bit about a bunch of things. If you missed our Oscar nominations live stream, there's a link to that down below in case you would like to just hear our thoughts and see how the chat went, and you can donate there as well. I think when you look at the three little dots below the video, if you click on that, one of the options should be thanks. And if you would like to donate to that chat, you can do it through Super Thanks there.
Nice.
And we're passing 100% of those donations on. Alonzo, a day later, how are you feeling about the Oscar nominations?
I mean, I think this is we do the same dance every year of like, oh, yay, they remembered this, and boo, they neglected that, and
Yeah.
what? They nominated that, So, like, it all kind of feels of a piece, It's like, it would have been nice to see more for Sing Sing, but I'm glad that it's up for actor and screenplay. I do feel sad for some of the shutouts like Baby Girl and Hard Truths, but um,
Challengers.
yeah, challengers for sure. But the Oscars matter in certain ways. Like somebody was saying yesterday that like film archivists often find when they're trying to get studios to strike new prints or something, that one of the first questions they'll be asked is, "Did this movie win any Oscars?" Like back in the 40s or 50s or whatever. So I get it. It does gives a certain amount of like cultural heft to a film, but I think also there's it's up to us, it's up to the people who love movies and cherish them and talk about them and remember them and screen them and share them and all that stuff. And movies that have been ignored by the Academy live on anyway.
Yeah. And forever it can say like Oscar nominee,
Exactly.
so and so,
Yeah, no,
Meet the
no, that
Clumps, whatever it was. What was the Eddie Murphy movie that was the
yeah,
same year as
I think it was, yeah,
Dreamgirls?
Nutty Professor 2, the Clumps, I think so,
Yeah,
yes.
for all of
Rick
eternity,
Baker, woo!
the great Rick Baker has an Oscar nomination for a Clump movie. So, and as you pointed out, like, is that Diane Warren song from the 688 the first time a Tyler Perry movie has gotten an Oscar nomination? So,
Yeah, go
all
figure.
kinds of fun little trivia tidbits there. Yes. So, yeah, Rod Lurie, filmmaker Rod Lurie, posted something on Facebook about how he thinks that A Complete Unknown is going to win because everybody likes it and there
Huh.
is no controversy around it. Whereas Emilia Perez, as we have seen, has pissed off many trans people, has pissed off many Mexicans or Mexican Americans,
Mhm.
and everyone likes The Complete Unknown, and everyone's really good in it, and everyone likes the music, and that will appeal to a certain kind of voter. And he thinks there'll be just enough like second place votes to push it forward.
I mean, it's not out of the question. Somebody I know who has been involved with films that have gone through the awards process has always said, like, never underestimate the power of a movie that makes people feel good at the end.
Yeah.
And the very often, like when it comes down to it, that's the movie that people are more likely to go for, especially in Best Picture. If they leave the movie feeling like a little bit elated, a little bit good about themselves or about the world or whatever, as opposed to like, "Ooh," you know. And so, yeah, that plays into it for sure.
I am not sure that Amelia Perez has a feel good ending.
Yeah, no, that's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, that's again, I still can't. People have been asking me about Amelia Perez all week, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't see the movie that people see when they say yes, this was the best of the year. Like I went back and looked at our review again, and we were both kind of like, well, it's ambitious, it's
Yeah.
shooting for a lot, but I don't know how successful it is. And I've been reading a lot more reviews of people who sort of delineate all the ways in which it doesn't work.
Mhm.
But obviously, it's speaking to somebody.
Yes, various friends of ours in the chat are so helpful in reminding us that the Eddie Murphy movie I was trying to remember is Norbit.
Ah, yes, gotcha.
Academy Award winner or
Nor,
nominee rather,
yes,
Norbit. And Teddy KGB points out that it's hard out here for a pimp. Won an Academy Award,
yeah.
and that's a good song. 3-6 Mafia for All of Eternity will be
Look, Last
Academy
Dance
Award
is a
winners.
great song, but it also means that Thank God It's Friday is an Academy Award winning film.
Isn't that funny? Yes, Ed Looney says, "Hi guys, hi, good to see you."
Hey,
And yeah, Eternal nominee Diane Warren, she still rules. Are you guys aware that Diane Warren wrote "Blame It on the Rain"? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
In her prolific song catalog of all the big soaring movie ballads, she also wrote "Rhythm of the Night" for DeBarge
Wow.
and "Blame It on the Rain."
Look, I just learned that Luther Vandross wrote Brand New Day from The Wiz.
Right. We're going to review the Luther Vandross movie next week. That is
Yeah.
coming out. It's called Luther, Never Too Much. But then there's also this Diane Warren documentary, which is streaming on Masterclass, which is a strange place for a movie
Okay.
to premiere. But it's been in theaters and now it's going to stream on Masterclass. And
They beat out Chick-fil-A in a bidding war.
it's strange. Yeah. So that's happening. Also, as some folks are pointing out in the chat, that Sundance began. Oh, let me go to Razzies first, because if we're
Yes,
going to
sure.
stay in awards world for a second here, the Razzie nominations came out, of course, because they always come out right around when the Oscar nominations come out. Joker Folie Deux is your front runner, or whatever you want to call it. It has 7 nominations, including Worst Picture and Worst Actor for Joaquin Phoenix, and Worst Actress for Lady Gaga. Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan all have 6 each. I managed to miss Reagan. Did you ever see that,
I did
Alonzo?
not see it either. Life is too short. I just because I knew it was going to be a hagiography, and I cannot with that man. So I just passed.
Yeah, I've not seen that either. I mean, a lot of the Razzies are low hanging fruit. Also, I
Yeah.
learned from reading this article that anybody can be a Razzie voter. You can, I can,
Oh yeah.
Dorothy can, Sam can, Christian
You
can.
just
You
buy a
pay a few
membership.
bucks.
And yeah, I think like the idea of the Razzies is fun, and maybe even in their early years it was kind of a fun thing, but it's so lazy because, like you said, it is the low hanging fruit, and it's like they pick a handful of movies that they put in their targets and they nominate them for everything,
Yeah.
and it's like how does Madam Web have more nominations than Craven the Hunter? Like even in the world of like shitty Spider-Man spin-offs, like Craven the Hunter was way worse than Madam Web.
Yeah. Anyway, so they will announce the Razzie winners. I think they call them the losers. I don't know what they call them.
Mm,
I do find them increasingly irrelevant. Although they had
yeah.
to like backpedal when they started making fun of Bruce Willis, and then they realized,
Ugh,
oh, he's
oops.
suffering from a serious illness, and so we shouldn't be
Yeah.
doing that. So that is on March 1st, and the Oscars are on March 2nd. And then at some point that week prior to the Oscars, I'm thinking that Tuesday beforehand, we will do our annual Oscar
Oh yeah.
predictions live stream. We'll have more information about that closer to the day, but print out your ballot, bring your ballot. We'll go category by category. Our good friend Glenn Whipp, who is the awards expert at the LA Times, will
Yeah.
join again and share his insights.
Do not follow my advice for your office pool because I'm
Don't,
terrible at
yeah, ignore
prognosticating
Alonzo.
this.
Glenn's your guy. Glenn is why I
Yeah.
got all the short categories right, even though I see none of the shorts. I want to see the shorts this year, though. You know how they always show them?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I definitely want to do that. Brian Valco says, any main Reagan administration memories? Yes,
Don't.
actually.
That's a whole other discussion.
Whole other chat. No time for that. Okay, so Sundance began yesterday as well,
Yes.
and that runs through February 2nd. What are you looking forward to out of Sundance, Alonzo?
I haven't really had a chance to dig into the schedule, but the two that leapt out to me was obviously Andrew On's remake of The Wedding Banquet, with
Mm,
Bowen Yang and Lily Gladstone. Very excited about that.
yeah.
Really loved Driveways and Fire Island and Spa Night. He's a young filmmaker I think is really terrific, and I'm curious to see what he'll do with that material. And then also a remake from a queer director. We have Bill Condon's Kiss of the Spider Woman, the musical. And of course, Condon has a history with Candor and Ebb, having written the Chicago movie. And so, yeah, and given that the novel and the musical are so much about the power of cinema, I think the perfect way to do this is as a movie. So it's not like a stage musical where it just sort of feels like, okay, because we got to make the movie now. Like it actually
Mhm.
makes more sense as a movie musical than it did as a stage musical. So that'll be one to look for, I think.
Yeah, and J-Lo in that setting,
Yeah.
it seems like it's a meaty role for her potentially.
For sure.
So there's that, and then, I was just looking at some of the stuff that looks kinda interesting. There's this Dave Franco, Alison Brie body horror movie called Together.
Okay.
They are married, of course, and they have
Yeah.
worked together quite a bit, but this is like a weird kinda dark indie horror movie. So there's that.
Cool.
There's a movie called Last Days from Justin Lin. Justin Lin going back
Oh,
to his indie roots. That's
yeah.
before all the Fasts and or Furiouses. He did Better Luck Tomorrow and
I back when I was in Dallas running the USA Film Festival, he and Quentin Lee came in with their film, whose title just flew out of my head. That was like their first effort together as filmmakers. Oh, fuck, what's that
not
movie
Better Luck
called?
Tomorrow,
No,
right?
before Better Luck Tomorrow. This
Okay.
is in the '90s. Vamp. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, I will. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much going on. And then there's a movie that looks really good. It's an incredible cast called Love Brooklyn. It is a romance starring Andre Holland, Nicole Bahari, and DeWanda Wise.
Ooh,
So that
nice.
looks really interesting. So, are any of you guys doing virtual Sundance? Is that still a thing that you can do? I think it is,
Is
right?
it?
This
I
is
don't. I don't know. If they were. I haven't looked, but I thought they had kind of pulled the plug on that.
yeah. Was that just
Shopping
like
for Fangs. That was the
Shopping for
first.
Fangs? Is the name of the movie that you're
Yeah,
thinking about with Justin Lin?
1997. Justin Lin, Quentin Lee co-directed, and yeah, I screened that back in my old festival days.
Interesting. How was he? Was he cool?
Yeah, they were both super nice, and I'm still in touch with Quentin. I haven't seen Justin since then, but he's doing well for himself. So I'm happy for him.
Oh, okay. Jesse says, by the way, Christy, the friend of mine that I mentioned to you from LA is from Thousand Oaks. Yes, that is up past where I grew up on the 101 in
Mm.
Ventura County. So people commute from Thousand Oaks now into LA. It is crazy. Jimmy Ma asks, can you do it outside the US? Can you stream Sundance movies outside the US?
Oh, good question. I don't even know if you can do it in the US this year. I haven't really been paying attention to it. So I don't know. That would be
Yeah.
a Google question.
Yes, Monica says, I hope Diane Warren wins her first Oscar instead of any of the Emilia Perez songs. I think she's going to be shut out again, Monica. I think that El Mal song from Emilia
Hmm.
Perez is going to be the winner. I would be happy for Diane Warren. This is her 16th nomination. It's just so funny though how music has changed and how we consume it has changed so much since the heyday of those 90s, early 2000s, Diane Warren, like giant soaring
Don't want to miss
ballads
a
that were
thing. Yeah.
yeah, that were like the anthem from a movie too. And it's just we consume music so differently. It's so splintered now that like I don't know that it registers the way it used to. It's not on the radio like it might have been.
I'll be curious to see if Stephen Schwartz manages to shoehorn a new song into Wicked for Good,
Ah,
so that can get a nomination next year. Because it's very common for screen adaptations of stage musicals to like throw in a new song to see if it gets nominated, and
right.
sometimes it works. Like I think Mean Green Mother from Outer Space was new for Little Shop of Horrors, that it had not been in the stage show. But
Mhm.
then you also have that that Taylor Swift song for Cats that didn't help.
Wasn't there an extra Beyonce song in Dreamgirls?
Maybe I'd have to
Something like
look.
that. A couple things I want to mention here. Yeah, Connor says Sundance Virtual is very much alive. I
Oh,
highly
good. Okay.
recommend it. Good to know. Gage asks, is there a presence review coming? Yes, we
Yes.
literally just did it. We just recorded reviews of Presence and Flight Risk. Will you guys be seeing either of those movies this weekend? Apparently, Flight Risk is going to be number one, but sort of a quiet weekend while folks are still catching up with Oscar contenders.
Yeah, by the way, if you have Mubi or you were considering getting like a 7-day free trial of Mubi, they're streaming The Substance and they're also streaming
Mm.
the international nominee Girl with a Needle.
Ooh, yes. I'd like to catch up with that. With a lot of things I want to catch up with. I'm Still Here is up
Yeah,
there. September 5 is up there. So we're making a
yeah.
list and we're filling it in on our Art House Tuesdays of things we want to do. Joe asks me, "Hi, Christy, are you going skiing at Sundance? How is your knee?" No, I am not skiing yet. I'm gonna hopefully go to Whistler with my family for spring break in April. I got to wear like a brace, and by then it will be almost a year. But I did run this morning. I ran like 4.5 miles this morning, so I'm starting to get
Oh,
back to running, and that feels really, really good.
all right.
So thank you for asking. Oh, Real Dreamer says, "Listen" was the new song that Beyonce sang in Dreamgirls. Right.
Thank you.
That's what we're saying, that they'll
Yeah,
wedge in a new song.
yeah, to see if they can get some Oscar action out of it.
Yeah. I read somewhere there's a theory about why Nickel Boys didn't get a cinematography nomination. And I guess it's because quite a bit of it is indeed shot by those two actors
Well,
that
but I mean, I think yeah, I saw that too, and it's like I think that kind of delineates there's a difference between being the cinematographer and the camera operator. Like, I don't think that
oh,
the cinematographer is necessarily always the person who is managing the camera, holding the camera. They used to call cinematographers lighting directors,
oh,
so I
I
think they
see.
have a lot to do with the sort of overall look of the film. And, he may have crafted what the cinematography was going to look like. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, because of the nature of the POV of it all, had to then hand the physical camera to the actors to do
Yeah.
it. But even if that were the case, I don't think that cinematographers would say, oh, well, then he's not really the cinematographer,
Yeah.
because I think it's more of a big picture thing.
Because isn't that who won for us at LA Film Critics? Is the Nickel Boys cinematographer?
Yes, yes, and I believe he also won from National Society.
Yeah.
So
Andrea asked a question that
yeah,
brings us to something that I did want to get to at some point. She says, "Thoughts on the Academy decision to not perform the songs nominated for Best Original Song?" So this is one of the changes that they are making. They're doing some things that are different
mhm.
because of the wildfires, both just logistically and I think in terms of trying to appear sensitive. There's been such devastation here in Los Angeles and has really impacted the industry so much that doing a not more somber, but maybe more respectful Academy Award ceremony. So they're not doing the original songs, and I think that's dumb.
Well, they did
I
say
think
that they wanna focus more on the songwriters, so if we now
uh,
get a clip package about Diane Warren and about, the other composers, then I think that's giving them their due. I mean, if you wanna hear the songs, go to YouTube, you know? Um, I think the Oscars have always sort of contended with the idea of, like, we're an award show, but we're also a show, and so like we have
mm,
to entertain people and we have to throw in these clip packages and do these whatever. And so if they can figure out ways to be entertaining that isn't just the traditional, well, here comes somebody to sing a song, I'd be curious to see what that is, but I don't think it's impossible that they could strike a balance and find a way to do that.
I just think about moments that are so memorable, like when Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper did "Shallow," and
Sure.
the way like that was shot from the back of the stage. Like I think Bradley Cooper supposedly directed that
Oh,
segment of it. Like, if there's a way to make those moments impactful and bring out the emotion of the songs and not
sure.
seem cheesy razzle
I
dazzle.
mean, I look, if they said they were doing it, it'd be like, okay, well, fine, that's what they do, and there's good stuff at it. But them not doing it, I'm not. I don't just immediately think, oh, that's a bad idea, and it's going to fuck up the show.
Mhm.
Um, but it's so hard to get these shows right. I honestly have no idea. Uh, I, but spring on what you were saying about the tone and the optics. What we're starting to see now that I'm really excited about is people talking about keeping production in Los Angeles.
Mm.
Vin Diesel just announced that he was going to try and get the next Fast movie slash movies shot in LA to sort of help out with local production, because between the pandemic and the strikes and now the fires, like
We need
local
it.
Southern California production numbers are way down, and a lot of people who live here rely upon those productions to make a living. And so I think if the Oscars can not only sort of be a tribute to Los Angeles as a resilient city in the face of the fires, but also as a production hub, and remind people, hey, you should shoot here, you should stay here and shoot here,
For
even
sure.
if there's like a sweet tax deal waiting for you in Georgia or Louisiana or whatever. Like, I think that would go a long way to doing some good with this show.
Yeah, there's so much I want to get to in the comments on all of these things. Various people are pointing out what a great moment it was last year at the Oscars when Ryan Gosling came out of the audience to do
Yes,
"I'm Just Ken."
for sure.
That was incredible. That
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. Not to was a
Yeah.
freaking showstopper. Like
Yep,
that was
yep,
really
yep.
really
I
fun.
mean, going back to Isaac Hayes in the early '70s, coming out in that chainmail to do a theme from Shaft.
Ah, we have hello from Knox in Taiwan. It's
Hello?
Lunar New Year break now. It's almost
Oh, happy New Year.
4:20 a.m. in Taiwan. So thank
Enjoy the
you.
moon cakes. I love them so much.
Mooncake, so good. And then JDJ830, I'm gonna have my glasses on, I'm sorry, says it's a waste of Conan to make it more respectful. I think he can ride that line though. I think he can find the tone. He's a
Yeah.
pro. He's been around for a long time.
It's not gonna be like humor free, you know. I'm sure he will provide levity, but I think the overall tone of the show is going to be, you know, like we're not gonna pretend like this horrible thing didn't just happen, you know, a few miles away from the venue where we're having this event tonight.
Yeah, Brian points out about Quentin Tarantino being from the South Bay and Paul Thomas Anderson being from the Valley, like some
Mm,
kind of tribute to LA from people who are from here. Yeah, I can imagine that there's going to be some kind of beautifully produced tribute to Los
yeah.
Angeles and like the iconic locations where films have been shot here.
I was totally serious. Get Tom Anderson to do it. Like, he directed, you know, Los Angeles Plays
Hmm.
Itself. He's an expert at how this city has been portrayed on film and how the image that this city presents to the world via film and television.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, we will talk about all this as we learn more.
Yeah.
I again, we're going to do an Oscar predictions live stream, so come on back for that. I'm thinking about doing a live Oscar live stream again, like I did a year ago, where I set my phone down on my tripod and watched the Oscars, and we got an amazing turnout for that. That
All
was
right.
so much fun, and I just talked for like 3.5 hours straight, and my husband would like bring me food and drink.
I can't remember why I didn't do it with you last year, but if I'm in town, which I think I will be,
Okay.
I'll join you for that.
I think you had COVID because you couldn't make
Oh, that's true.
our you
Yes.
couldn't make the predictions
I did
because
have
that was just me
COVID
and
this time
Glenn.
last year, yes, but hopefully
So
that will not be the case this year. So
Teddy points out, I agree. Teddy points out, I like to see movie stars taking pledges over the phone telethon style.
yeah, in the hopes that we can get another, you know, what's his face? Why am I blanking on his name now? The guy who stood next to Mike Myers and said George Bush doesn't care about black people. Um,
Wasn't that Kanye West?
yes, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Him, yes. What
Right.
great awkward moments in live television. Yeah, no, I mean, didn't you say that the Grammys are sort of set up as a telethon this
I'm
year?
not sure what the exact logistical thing is, but yeah, February 2nd is the Grammys, and
I
that
would
is
totally call in the hopes that Patti LaBelle was gonna pick up, you know?
yeah. I'm curious to see how they do that because again, like all the eyes of the world are on them, use that
Sure.
platform. That would be great. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for being here. I'm going to wrap it up just because we were on here for a long, long time yesterday and we got stuff to do, but we're delighted to see you. Thanks to all of you for your insight and your enthusiasm and your support. And we will not be doing movie news live next Friday
Right.
because one of my best friends is going to be in town and I haven't seen her in a couple years. And so the only time that she can see me is like now. So I'm gonna go
Do
have
your
lunch with one of my best
thing.
friends. So
Yes.
anyway, thank you, Connor, for saying nice sweater. I appreciate that. I'm cozy. I'm gonna enjoy my cozy sweater over the privacy of my own home.
It's fab.
Um,
Have a great weekend, everybody. As always, we appreciate you being here with us, and, yeah, we'll be back soon with more. Until then,
thanks, guys.
bye.
Bye.